Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated, where today I'm just thrilled to death to be joined by actress Daphne Maxwell Reid. So welcome, Daphne.
Thank you so much. I brought all my opinions with me.
I didn't figure you had a one.
Oh, plenty of opinions. And
That's all right. We're pretty opinionated. So, although honestly, so my son and I started this show, and we named it Too Opinionated because between the two of us, we tend to have opposite opinions. You know, it's a generation gap.
Mm-hmm.
But just normally, we're not really that opinionated.
I've realized that opinions mean nothing.
They don't, because nobody cares, and they only care if your opinion matches theirs. So what's the difference?
Opinion? It's just air coming out.
It's just air. Everybody has one. So
yeah.
So there's so much I want to talk to you about, and you're such a talented, fascinating person, and multi-talented. But I want to start here. You know, I'm interested to know how you got into the entertainment business. What started you down that path?
Opportunity started me down that path. I was kind of discovered as a model and had a modeling career in the late 60s and early 70s. And it continued after I graduated from college, and modeling went into commercial work. And I really enjoyed doing commercials because the checks were really nice. So I continued to do that until Robert Conrad came to town. He came to Chicago, and he was shooting a show called The Duke. And I auditioned for a part in The Duke. I mean, I had never done a television show before.
Right.
And he asked me to be in the cast, and I became one of the regular characters in the show. And that was my first opportunity. So I took all that I had learned behind the scenes of modeling and acting and public speaking, and I brought that to my acting career, and I kept paying attention to what was going on around me. And I learned on the job all the things that would make my performance enhanced rather than just the talent that I have, but knowing how to hit your mark and find your light and all sorts of little things that you don't think about until you get in that situation. So that was a great start. And when I moved to California, of course, I looked up Robert Conrad, said, "Hey, I'm in town." And he said, "Oh, I've got this other show called A Man Called Sloan." And he had a part the next week. And he hired me for that role. And I was able to get an agent because I had a job.
That's right.
And I was in the right place at the right time when people were looking for someone like me.
That's awesome.
I kept working and working and working and growing as an actress and working and looking at my work and seeing where I needed to improve. And here I am,
still working
years later, and I'm still working.
Did you take theater or any of the arts in school?
No, in high school, I went to the Bronx High School of Science. You know, we didn't have any time for that. We had physics and calculus and Anyway, there was my English class. She put on a play. When I was in high school, there was an after school or a Saturday program called the Group Theater Workshop. And a friend of mine said, "Come on with me." And I went down and joined the Group Theater Workshop. It was run by Robert Hooks. It has grown into a national, I mean, it's the Negro Ensemble Company now, but it started
that's amazing.
Group Theater Workshop.
Yeah.
And I played at acting.
I play at podcasting. It's okay.
I could never see that as a career because I didn't have a lot of examples of a Black woman making a living doing that. So it wasn't on my radar. But the opportunities presented themselves, and I was prepared for the opportunities and took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's really amazing that you were able to do that, because it's so hard to break into the entertainment business. That's not easy.
It can be hard. It
Yeah.
can be easy.
You made
Depending
it kind
on
of
what
easy.
your path is. There's no one way to do it.
Yeah.
There's no road to, there's no, now you do this, this, mm-mm. It has to do with stars aligning and catching lightning in a bottle. And you may be the most talented person in your whole neighborhood.
Right.
But if you're not what they're looking for,
That's right.
you have to wait to be chosen. So you don't have a career.
Yeah, it's difficult because a lot of it is based on the opinions of others, not necessarily your talent.
Not, it's not really an opinion. The person who is creating the character, the writer or the producer, they have in mind what they want to present. Now they're looking for somebody who fits what they have in
That's
them.
right. That's right.
And it really has nothing to do with you personally. That's why I always tell actors who, I want to be in, give me some advice. I said, don't let the successes go to your head. Don't let the failures go to your heart, because it has nothing to do with you personally.
That's really good advice. Yeah, that actually is really good advice. So I think the first time that I remember seeing you on screen, it was one of these two. They're two of my favorite shows ever. So it was either Hill Street Blues, or I'm not sure which came first, WKRP in Cincinnati.
WKRP came first.
Yeah, I thought it might have. It was close, like within a couple years of each other, right?
Yeah, it was all in the same season. But
Yeah.
KRP was one of the first shows that I did out there after A Man Called Sloan. And then Hill Street Blues, and then the A-Team and Hard.
Oh my gosh, you were the best on the A-Team.
Just, I had a wonderful run back there in the early 80s.
You really did. You were on some. Let me ask you this about the A-Team. Did anybody ever actually hit anybody? That was the worst shooting bunch of people I've ever seen. Nobody ever got hit.
No, it was all yak.
That was such a fun show. That's such a fun show. And Hill Street Blues, if I remember right, you were a reporter.
I think I don't remember. I haven't seen any of those episodes lately. So I did a couple of them. I did maybe 4 Hill Street Blueses, but I don't know what I was doing.
I think that may have been it. Now, I'm a big fan of your husband's as well. Did you two meet on WKRP?
No. We met in Chicago.
Knew each other before.
We were both working in Chicago, living and working in Chicago in the 70s. I've known him since probably 72, 73. And we had worked together. He was just another guy. He was married to somebody else. I was married to somebody else.
Right.
We didn't pay any attention to each other. But when I got to LA, a lot of the Chicago people used to hang out together.
Right.
And he said, "Oh, do you remember Tim Reid?" And I'm going, "Yeah, vaguely." He says, "I'm going to tell him you're in town." I said, "Okay." So he told him, and we had a little 5-minute date that lasted 5 hours. And now it's 40 years.
Some chemistry. Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations. That's rare.
Hard work.
Well, and you two have worked on some of the same shows. I know you did Simon and Simon, and did you make an appearance on Sister Sister?
One, yes.
Yeah, I thought you had, and of course WKRP, which he was. That's my favorite show that he did. He did so many, but that's my favorite.
That's why you're in broadcasting. That's why.
I did. I did enjoy him on that show. That was such a hilarious show.
Admit it. It was Lonnie Anderson. That's what you wanted to do.
Well, at that time, I was probably 11, 12 years old. It could have been. I think the Thanksgiving episode with the turkey drop, probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Had no ideas turkeys couldn't fly.
That's right. Nobody knew. So I saw, of course, I'm a fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And my wife, she's a little younger than I am, but that was one of her favorite shows growing up.
Excellent.
So we had to watch, even before I knew you were coming on the show, we watched the reunion. So you had the 30-year reunion, and I tell you what, it was a tearjerker.
Yes, it was. Even for us.
Well, you could tell everybody was so emotional.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was just amazing.
It was one of the most warm, wonderful adventures that I've had in a long time. And we have seen each other over the years. I mean, we've had weddings, we've had births of babies, we've had book
Yeah.
launches, we've had funerals, sadly, but we had never all been in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
And the way Will had produced it, he had us all staying in separate hotels so that we didn't reunionize
I love
before
that.
we got to set. So you saw an actual,
Sneaky.
we haven't seen y'all in years, hugs going on when they were shooting. So
Yeah, and it came across that way. You know, it was just there's some very real emotion that was
yeah,
that was
there was no
happening.
thing going on there. That was all us talking to each other.
Well, and you had the recreated the set. I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty neat to see again.
Yep.
That, yeah, it was just so great. So, how did that come about? You know, how were you approached to come on the reunion?
I got an email that asked me, was I interested in having being part of a reunion? And yeah. What's the question? We had early in the spring, we had a Zoom call with
Yeah.
just about everybody on the call. And he was laughing and joking and, good to see you all. And, this is a nice reunion.
Yeah.
And he never said anything else. And then a couple of months later, we got an email from his production company asking us each to come. And we all called each other and said, did you get the email? I got the email. You going? You going?
Have to go.
Yeah. We were all excited about it. And it was just fabulous. There were strict protocols for COVID and everybody was paying attention to them. And we were therefore allowed, after all the testing that we went through, and we quarantined when we got to LA, and we were allowed to be on the set without masks. But everybody
Well, I was going to ask you that if that was actually recorded a while back, or did you actually have to quarantine? Yeah.
We quarantined and we got tested before we left home. We got tested after we landed, and we got tested every day and quarantined for 5 days before we went to shoot.
Well, because that would have been just terrible if you couldn't have hugged each other and showed some emotion. It's been so long. That would have just been terrible.
It would have been terrible.
Yeah,
they did it very well. I was really pleased with how they set it up.
Yeah, it was just very moving. I loved that you and Janet got to meet. I thought that was a great story about the two of you hadn't met before, and it seemed like it went really well.
It did. Nobody knew what to expect.
Yeah.
That I have no beef with the woman. I don't even know her. So.
That's right. I couldn't believe that. I was like, really? Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's a small town, but it's a big city.
Well, I think as fans, it was very cathartic to see her back on the show and kind of her and Will making up or reconciling. And then just that everybody was genuinely happy to see her. I thought that was really nice.
Yep. I was glad that whatever their beef was settled, because I never knew what the beef was. They never spoke about it. I didn't ask about it.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, understandably. Was that back, and of course this is back in the day, but at that time, was it difficult coming into a show to replace a character?
No, because they were not looking for somebody to replace her. They were looking for another Aunt Vivian. I didn't have to wonder about.
You could bring your own to it.
What her mannerisms were, or I couldn't dance like she dances. So they weren't looking for that, that's for sure. And they hired me to be the person that I am. And I think they did a classy transition between the two.
Yeah, agreed.
noting it, not paying any more attention to it, just moving on.
Just moving on. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've seen that on other shows and it wasn't nearly as smooth. It wasn't done nearly as well. I thought they did a really great job with that. So it was such a fun reunion. I mean, it was hilarious. It was fun seeing all of you get excited and playing the music again at the end. And that was, I thought it was really neat to see how pumped up you got before the airings, before the tapings, before you came on stage. I love that.
We loved it every week. After we left his room, James and I are dancing down the hall. It was a blast. It really was a fun place to work and a very professional place to work.
Yeah.
These people were really on it. They weren't joking around. Yeah, you joke around when you're in the dressing room and outside of the set, but when we went to work,
right,
everybody was on it, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a talented cast. Yeah. The big thing is what is old is new. All these shows are now coming back in some form. Just saying.
Third generation, so
you could do it though.
The original ones, and Will is doing another version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on the Peacock Network, but it's a drama, and he's
really
this new young talent that he saw who had done a small kind of on his own film of his idea of what a Fresh Prince drama would be, and Will went into business with him and got him a deal at so they're
that's amazing.
So that should be interesting.
That should be amazing. Who knows? Maybe we'll see one of you pop up on there. A little cameo. You never know.
These children don't want these old people on there.
I don't think that's true. I hope that's not true.
Have me come in as the landlord or something.
Yeah, no, I before we leave it, I really enjoyed it. And it was a little over an hour long, I think, the special, but it went by so fast.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of got their turn to say a few things. And I just thought it was really well done that with such a ensemble, difficult to give everybody their moment, but I thought it did a pretty good job.
It was very well done. I was very pleased at how it was done.
Yeah. So I understand that you are a photographer.
Yes.
And I want to hear about this. So I've been looking some of your stuff up. It is amazing. But you take all of these photos of doors and entryways. Yeah. And I'm so curious on how that started and what got you interested in that. And some of these photos are just amazing, just beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it possible to pause your recording?
Yeah, of course.
So I started taking photographs of doors because I have an interest in architecture. My degree from Northwestern University is in interior design and architecture. So I'm on to the details of architecture. And I realized that doors are a metaphor for life, and they represent adventure and opportunity and curiosity. But I also love the craftsmanship, the color, the cultural aspects of the doors, what God has done to them doors. So when I traveled, I got to travel so much in the 80s and 90s when I was big time show business. And since then too. But I always had my camera, and I always took pictures, and they happened to be of doors. Now, if Tim and I were traveling together, he would take a picture of the whole house.
Right.
And take a picture of the door, the window, and the knocker. And, so we see the world in different ways.
Right.
I realized that I like the richness that is life when you look at the details of your journey. So that's what I try to encourage you through looking at these doors, to dream about what's behind the door, see something that I see in the door, but think about the details in your life that make your journey very, very rich. It's
Yeah.
not getting from A to B. Okay, then you got to B, now where you going? It's what's between A and B that really enriches your life. So I keep taking pictures of doors, and I talked about them so much, I decided to write it down. And, and I went to a publisher, and he says, "Oh, good. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, this is a good idea. Oh, I would do this. I would do that. I would do this." And we can't publish that because it won't sell in a bookstore. It's more like a
Right.
gift store item. I said, "Okay, thank you." And I went back all his notes and reformatted the book. I'll publish it myself. So I
That's
love
right.
the process of learning, the journey
Yeah.
of learning how to deal with these photographs, how to deal with them on my computer, how to enhance them, how to mat them, how to frame them. All of that was the joy of the journey. And then I learned how to publish. And then I wrote another book. And then I decided, oh, well, now I can do catalogs types books. So I did some more kind of books. I did note cards. I did postcards. I did accessible items to my photos. And then I had
Wow.
a gallery show. And it's been a fabulous journey. And I didn't start that journey until I was 60 years old.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Never too late to go with your heart and try something that has a purpose, but that
Right.
you really enjoy doing. So
Yeah,
that's the
I
property.
love that. My wife's in her spare time, she's an artist, so I can appreciate it.
Ooh,
I love her work so much, but I'm not artistic, so at, at least I haven't discovered an avenue that would make me artistic. But I love her work, so I really appreciate it. And I know that she would love your work too, and the thought behind it, because that's the way her mind kind of works. It's always, what's going on behind this, or
yeah.
what's the backstory, what brought us to this point, that type of thing. And that's just a different way of thinking that I don't always do. So it helps to open my eyes and kind of enhance my experience of art, if that makes sense.
Well, it's been a joy, an
Yeah.
absolute joy.
Yeah, that's terrific. So you've got a cookbook out.
I do.
I love the title. I
Grace,
like,
Soul, and Mother Wit.
yeah, Mother Wit. I love that. And so it's not just a cookbook, right? It's kind of, you've got yeah, explain what's all in it, but I know it's not just recipes.
It's a mini memoir. It's a little taste of me growing up and my family, and
Yeah.
basically the love that my mother brought to the table when she served us food and created the environment for us to commune around a table.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to encourage people to get back to doing that because there's value in that. And also just sharing my journey through this wonderful life I've lived, all the people that I've met along the way. There are recipes from people that I worked with on a set, or people that I
Right.
ran into in Morocco where we're staying at their villa, all sorts of little recipes with stories. And each recipe
Wow.
has a story of what it means to me, who it's from, or what actually this particular dish meant to me and my family.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the book, I give you a lot of reasons to get in the kitchen, how to set it up, how to buy the right pots and pans, how to have the right
I
dishes,
like that.
what you need to set up a kitchen to start serving food, even if it's just two people.
Right.
And try to get you into the habit of sharing the love of giving through
Yeah.
preparation of food and serving food and communing in the eating of it together.
Oh boy, I love that so much, because of course that's how I was raised.
Yep.
90% of the meals were around the table, with the whole group. The other 10% was probably a sandwich handed outside the house, before, you get kicked out in the morning, you're allowed to come back in at night. So they might hand a sandwich out at lunch. But
Or that little brown bag you used to take to school with your
yeah, oh
sandwich,
yeah.
your apple in it. Yeah. There's lots of love in giving, serving people food. There's
Yeah.
lots of love.
Well, and what a great kind of legacy to pass down. I love the idea behind the book because you're not just, a lot of people I think pass down recipes or they hand off recipes, but you're given the story behind it and the feeling behind each meal and stuff. I love that idea.
Well, I'm not a chef and I'm not, super cook. I can only
Yeah,
share the feeling and the recipes that people give me and how I might have changed it a little bit. And there's lots of jokes in the recipes too. There's one recipe called King Tim's King Crab Legs.
okay.
And I call him King. And he says,
Yeah,
I am the king because she lets me be.
that's right.
So he prepares king crab legs and he cooks them with beer. But you
Oh,
have to also drink the beer as you're cooking them.
of course.
So in the recipe, it says, now take a sip of beer and then do this and this and this, and take another sip of beer and do this and this and this and this. So there's a lot of that kind of humor in it. And
Yeah, I love that.
the Christmas, the Thanksgiving turkey for the virgin turkey preparers.
Yeah.
You get your turkey at the store, get a fresh turkey, don't get a frozen turkey.
That's right.
Bring it home, stick your hand in its butt and pull everything out. You got to know these things or else you're putting giblets in the middle of the turkey.
My son, when he was little, he thought what came out of the turkey was what it ate. That's what you were pulling out.
Okay.
So I don't know how you find the time, but you've also got a clothing line.
Yes.
And I was looking at this, and I don't know much about fashion, but those tops and coats are just, they're beautiful. They're almost like works of art looking at them.
I intend them to be.
Yeah.
It's like buying a piece of statement jewelry that you wear.
It is.
Because the coats, I fell in love with Chinese silk brocades because of the richness of the colors and
Right.
the textures. And I found a design that suits a lot of people. And I started making them for myself and get stopped in the street. People say, oh, where'd you get that from? I said, I made it. Oh, will you make me one? No.
Yeah, no, can't do it.
So my husband has an institute where he trains filmmakers.
Yeah.
And he had a fundraising fashion show. And he says, why don't you make a line of those coats and put it in the fashion show? I said, okay. I was liking him that week. So I did, and people bought them from the runway. I said, oh, well, I'm not going to be tied to the sewing machine because I got a lot of other things I like to do. So I started a custom business, and it's been going very well. People get measured, and they choose their fabric, and I custom make the coat for them.
Yeah, I love that, and they're beautiful. I was looking at some of the examples; they're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need one of those. You have to.
Tim's got one.
Yeah, well, does he? I figure he does. See, that's the way I am with my wife. She paints a lot for charity. So she donates them to charity, and then they'll auction them off, and they keep the money. I get in trouble a lot because I'm always sneaking on the auctions to try to buy them back. So I'd be the same way if she made clothes.
You gotta keep them at home. Snatch them, stick them in a closet. I don't know what happened to that painting.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. And then one day she'd just be cleaning or putting stuff away and run into all her paintings.
Yeah. Oh, hang this one on the wall, honey. I like that.
No, I don't know where you find the time for that. Where did you learn to kind of work with material that way?
Oh, my mom was a seamstress. I've sewn since I was a little girl. I've always made all my own clothes. And a lot of the clothes that I had are used in the television shows. The coat that I had on in the reunion for Fresh Prince was one of my.
I assumed it was because it was
Yeah.
so, I mean, it was gorgeous. I assumed that you had made that.
Yeah. So I've been sewing. That's what my hands do.
Well, they do good.
We're making masks now for this time of life because got to wear these. I'm sure we're going to be another year with these masks. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. I did see on your website that
Yeah.
that you made masks, and they were beautiful, and you put a filter in them.
I put a HEPA filter in it, so you're protecting me as well as you're protecting you.
Yeah, that's amazing. How talented! I'm amazed with your talent and where you find the time. I guess this year maybe I understand where the time.
You understand where the time. I'm not on the road. Not traveling, which is what I want to be doing. So
yeah. Well, and so I know we got to wrap up, but I wanted to mention too that you're also or have been a spokesperson for one of the colleges there in Virginia.
Yeah, I was on the board of Virginia State University.
Yeah.
And they made me an emeritus board member. I said, now what does that mean? That means that y'all
means you got to make coats for all of
them. No, you cannot go away.
You're stuck.
I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, Daphne, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed speaking with you. You're just an amazing, fascinating person. This has been great.
This has been delightful. Totally unopinionated.
I told you, not too opinionated.
Yeah.
Just happy to be here. So, but before I let you go, is there? I know this has been such a crazy year, but is there anything that you have upcoming that we can kind of keep an eye out for you in?
Well, I'm always popping up on television. We have a show on right now on BET Plus called The Business of Christmas.
And let me tell you, I'm glad you brought that up. My daughter is queen of all things Christmas, and she doesn't miss any. I don't know how she finds them all, but she doesn't miss any of the Christmas shows. But she said to tell you that she absolutely loved that one.
Excellent.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Very nice to have an audience out there. You never know when you shoot these things. But you guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. I hope you get a little snow to tickle your toes. And be well.
Well, same to you, and just happy holidays. One last thing before you go, could you give your website address so that our listeners can go and look at all this amazing stuff that you're doing?
Thank you. You have to spell my name because it's Daphne, Daphne. Don't stick any other letters in there. Daphne, and then Maxwell, and then Reid is Reid. And if you slam them all together, it's DaphneMaxwellReid.com.
Easy enough. And it comes up too. Once you start typing it in, it pops right up.
It pops up. Okay, good.
All right. Well, thank you, Daphne. And please come back anytime.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Yeah, same to you, ma'am. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. That was the multi-talented Daphne Maxwell Reid. What a delight to speak with her. And especially, the Fresh Prince reunion show just aired. It's on HBO Max. I probably should have said that. It is absolutely worth your time. It's bring some Kleenex because it's a tearjerker, but it's just very heartwarming. It's so much fun seeing all those characters and actors that you fell in love with 30 years ago. It's just all back together, and you can see the bond that they have with each other. And that was just wonderful. So check that out, and please check out her artwork, DaphneMaxwellReid.com. Her photography. I saw she had some cards on there. She's got masks, which are so important nowadays, and then her designs, her clothing designs. All of it is just beautiful and different from anything I think else out there, which I know a lot of people like. So check that out. Thank you so much for joining us for another show. Definitely don't take that for granted. Really appreciate that you keep coming back. Yeah, so appreciated. Please check us out on Facebook under MeisterCon. You can look at the website, meistercon.com. If you want to help the show, you can go to patreon.com/MeisterCon. We'll give you some early access, some free material for your trouble. Until next time, thank you all so much for joining us show after show. Appreciate it so much. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.